it should be kinda hard to mess up big lizard smash things. And it is. The action sequences in all the recent Godzilla films are excellent. But I think most people would agree that the places where these films failed were in the moments where the titular reptile was not on the screen. The human characters in these movies were, man, lacking feels like too soft of a word for this. Let's put it this way, I hadn't seen Kong Skull Island when I went to see Godzilla vs. Kong, and there were characters in the latter film that I thought weren't being fleshed out very well because they had been established back in Kong. Turns out they were entirely new characters that were just that flat and uninteresting. Let's move the humans out of the way so I can look at the big scary nuclear death lizard. That is what I want. And so along comes this new anime called Godzilla SP, or Godzilla Singular Point. And the marketing naturally has Godzilla in it, but it seems to focus on the human characters. So having been burned on that by the films, I was not looking forward to this anime at all. Human bad, lizard good. This is what the films have taught me. But I gave the episodes that are available a shot, and I was so f***ing wrong. Godzilla doesn't even show up in the first 2 episodes. It's all about the human characters, but they are so interesting that I legitimately would not care if Godzilla didn't show up until the last episode of the show. This is how you write characters in a kaiju movie, Max Borenstein. Before I get into that, let me just gush about the visuals for a second. This anime is a collaboration between studios Bones and Orange. Now, Bones excels in fun color palettes, and this is no exception. And if you've ever seen My Hero Academia or Mob Psycho, you understand what I'm talking about. The muted yet somehow vibrant colors give off an aesthetic similar to some classic anime like Fooly Cooly, and none of the character designs are anything close to generic. Visually, I would say that its closest counterpart is Great Pretender, which is absolutely a compliment. That show is gorgeous. And then you've got Studio Orange, which is famous among other things for Beastars and Hoseki no Kuni. What's that? The 2 anime that made many people reconsider just how fantastic 3D animation can be if done right. Definitely a team you want on your side if giant fighting monsters is going to be a recurring thing in the production. So if you were worried that the 3D animation used for the kaijus in the series was going to be bad, stop worrying. It looks pretty great, and it integrates fantastically with the 2D world. Side tangent about the visuals over, let's get back to my point here about the characters. We have 2 main protagonists here in researcher Mei Kamino and engineer Yun Arikawa, and a fantastic supporting cast, including a crazy old man that builds a giant robot that punches pterodactyls in the face. Yun is something of a jack of all trades, working for a robotics/electrician/occult investigating company. Yeah, just run with it. And Mei is a grad student researching theoretical biology. They cross paths while independently researching a strange radio signal that is causing an alarm to go off at a research facility, and this naturally progresses to, well, punching pterodactyls in the face. The narrative is chopped up between their perspectives and switches somewhat rapidly back and forth between them. That isn't to say that the overall pace is particularly breakneck, but switching between the character threads does feel a little random at times, and that's actually really refreshing. It never plods, and it's consistently interesting seeing these 2 very different people apply their own methods to working through similar problems. In a way, it doesn't feel like the pacing you would expect from an anime at all. At least not from a modern anime. It's chronologically linear, sure, but the constant perspective shifts feel more like something that would come out of the early 2000s, be that an anime or even a Hollywood film. Which is why I feel the need to draw the comparison to the recent Hollywood Godzilla films. Normally comparing an anime to a Hollywood film is kind of pointless. Different budgets, different mediums, different runtimes, they really just aren't congruent. And yet, so far, Godzilla SP strikes me as something that totally could have worked in a film context. It doesn't try to pluck your heartstrings with melodrama, it's not playing up the fear aspect like Godzilla 2014 did, it's just 2 really interesting characters who are interesting in their own right, even devoid of the giant lizard. I would watch Mei and Yoon in a slice of life show. They're just well written, unique, and likable. So knowing that I get to see them alongside Godzilla just makes me that much more excited to keep going. Which is where I think the Hollywood films failed. Those characters had nothing about them that was interesting when removed from the context of the film's kaiju. Being involved with Godzilla was kinda their only character trait. But even though Godzilla hasn't shown up yet, I already know that Yoon is an intelligent, straightforward, yet socially awkward person who prefers to let his work speak for him. And that Mei is a diligent researcher who cares more about the process of learning than the recognition that comes with it. They both have goals and aspirations that have nothing to do with kaiju, which is why I care about them even before it's big monster time. And yeah, I think that would have been achievable in a Hollywood film if written correctly, because like I said, The progression of this anime vaguely feels like a Hollywood film, while somehow simultaneously having the vibe of an anime plucked straight out of 2005, which doesn't make any sense, and that's what I'm getting at. This show truly isn't like anything else. I can see it being equally appealing to both anime fans who know nothing about kaiju and fans of the recent Hollywood or Toho Godzilla films. As I've said, the animation is top-notch, the characters are interesting, and the kaiju are awesome. Oh, and the dialogue. They spew words at you as fast as Monogatari does, so if you're not used to subs, it may take an episode or two to get used to the speed. But the back and forths between the cast don't really ever feel stilted. They're always making fun jokes or giving us extra insight. There's no wasted space here. So yeah, this has just been me gushing about the fact that 2 episodes of anime have made me claim this is anime of the season. Call me crazy. But since I'm making crazy assertions here, let me just go ahead and make another. I think this could be the best Godzilla property of any kind in a very long time. Notice that I've mostly been talking about the parts of the anime that don't include Godzilla, because he hasn't shown up yet. And as I said early on, it's very difficult to mess up big lizard smash things. So if it's a constant that the big lizard part is going to be good, the only variable is the human element. And so far, Godzilla SP has knocked that out of the park. Go ahead and add this to your plan to watch list while it's still early in the season. This is one that you're going to be wanting to keep up with every episode. For more on this season of anime, go ahead and subscribe with notifications on so you can know every time I've got some more info for you. And until next time, I've been Spoons, and thank you for watching.